they're making all kinds of changes to D&D. They're getting ready for, because 2014 was when 5e came out. And so we're getting this, I think they're calling it One D&D, bunch of updated rules. Now, let's go over to Aaron here. Aaron, you have a D&D podcast. You're a big D&D player. You know more than me on this for sure. Have you had a chance to look over much of these rules?
Yeah, I've had a little bit of a look at some of them. I know that the opinions on the rules so far has been pretty contentious, but D&D has always been a space where it takes community voice very, very seriously, to the point where they've unleashed like Unearthed Arcana, if you guys know that. It's basically playtest material that they send out, and then eventually that playtest material, that Unearthed Arcana, becomes actual rules for the game. So they're very like proactive in terms of putting out a product that the people will like and then publishing that as a set of rules. That being said as well, there are always people that will revert to the old edition if they don't want to go to the new one. And there are always people that will look at the rules and use them in the, as we call it, our table, the Hector Barbosa sort of effect from Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're more like guidelines. Yeah. But I think the overall sort of message that we're getting here is that D&D as a company is sort of taking community voice into their ears and producing a product that can be used for like everybody at the table to advance everybody's game. So I know some of the changes that have come out have been like really good for some of the classes. I saw a post from Sly Flourish, who's a big person in the D&D space. He said that, you know, there are a lot of things that he really enjoyed about it, but a lot of the things that he doesn't is that it makes the initial stages of the game and character creation a little bit more clunky because there's just more options. So for new players, it might be a little bit hard. For older players who are looking for that little bit of variety in creating their characters, it's probably a welcomed breath of fresh air, just because, you know, if you're playing something like a fighter, there's only a limited amount of things that you can do on your turn, whereas this new rule set, it really broadens out those melee classes, especially by introducing a few of the different rule sets, which I'm sure we'll sort of get into as we talk about this. But yeah, my initial thoughts is that it's a good thing that the D&D space is growing and it's considering community voice. Still a little bit of work to go before it's sort of perfect, you might say. Yeah.
And they had, I think it's called Roll20, the convention that's going on right now for it. And so we're getting our first books, actually physical books in hand right now. People are showing some of the gorgeous artwork in there. A lot of what I've been seeing is sort of making it a little more approachable in a way to where, like, a great example here is the feat table, like your origin table, right? Like, oh, I'm a soldier. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you get this. It's kind of interesting, but now it's like you get plus 2 strength, plus 1 constitution, very easy adjustments. You know, it's, to me, that's a lot more approachable, especially as somebody who helps other people build their characters. It's easier to just say, like, you're adding 2 numbers of this and 1 number to that, than it is like, well, imagine this. You know, I think that's very helpful.
Yeah, 100%. And I like that the origins, because usually what I tell people is when they're making their characters, you go through your ABC, which is your abilities, your background, and then your class, or your ancestry, your background, and your class. So I really like that background and origin has been given its day in the sun, because beforehand in the 5e system, you'd get like a language and a tool set, and you'd use them or you wouldn't. So it doesn't really matter. But whereas your origin, if you're an actual character in a storybook, your origin really makes up who you are as a character. So the fact that they've gone through and they've given like your origin and your ancestry different sort of feats that you can play off, different sort of like different sort of ability scores, it really lets you sort of bounce off and have a stage where you can begin your role play, but also where you can sort of see where your character's going as well. And it also mechanically, because there are 2 different sorts of players for Dungeons and Dragons, mechanically you can either role play it really well from that, or you could do more tactically on the battlefield, which is both of the elements of D&D that make people love it so much. So yeah, I like that new system in terms of the character backgrounds. I think it's good.
Yeah, it gives more weight to that your backstory. And again, when you're leading into the role playing, for example, one of the campaigns where I'm actually a player, I'm a cleric. I make my decisions based off my background because that's just how I want to role play. But I know so many people that are like, nah, that doesn't benefit me stat wise. It's like, yeah, but you're not playing a video game where you have to like, you know, game loop it to so much efficiency.
Min-max is the term.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't need to min-max it. We're having fun. You're with your friends and we're all half drunk. So just chill and have fun. You know, you don't need to run the numbers on it.
Just chill, No, that's good. No, one of my favorite upgrades that they've done. Yeah. Sorry. One of my favorite upgrades that they've done is the weapon mastery differences. So if you look at how weapon mastery was done before, you would be proficient in like different sorts of weapons, whether it be martial or simple, and that would be that. But if you were a fighter and you were proficient in martial weapons and you had a longsword, you use that exactly the same as another fighter that was proficient in martial weapons and used a longsword. But now with the weapon mastery, each type of weapon gives you a different feat as well. So if you're using like a halberd or a sword, you get an actual feat that belongs to that weapon because you are so good at it. And that just also broadens what you can do as a player. When you're playing like a mundane, I'll say mundane, but they're very versatile, a mundane class like a fighter or a monk or something like that, where you can actually do some stuff where your wizard companions are like flying fireballs and doing all this fancy stuff and teleporting you this way and that way. And you're just like, I'll hit him with my sword. No, it's not like that anymore. It's really good. So I like that change too.
Yeah. And again, going back to the role playing, it adds to that because you could play a fighter as like, oh, I'm the best champion in my village, or I'm a pirate that's on the side. So the feats that they can add here and there, you could lean in on that and like, oh, I'm a pirate that happens to be able to bust out the pistol every so often or whatever it might be. But you have a lot more range. Like the rogue, I think, is one of them that you can have so much fun with, and you can play it in all. It doesn't have to be just the edgelord that's assassinating people. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with that. It's a lot of fun, and this gives you that option. I know for our personal game that I'm DMing, one of the biggest changes that I've been texting Jonathan a lot about this is the nice little simple change of wild shape, the ability to turn into an animal.
The moon druid, wild shape.
First off, it goes for everything, not the subclasses anymore. Now it's just a druid thing, and it's a bonus action.
Yep.
So it's like, oh my god, that kind of makes so much sense because, and their explanation of it is like, it's funner, and it's like, yes, exactly. And so something that we were kind of homebrewing anyways a little bit, now we're just like,
and
okay,
they've done that a lot.
So
Yeah. And they've done that heaps where they've sort of taken what rule of thumb most players and most tables have sort of gone to, and they've just put that in the book as just like, this is what we should do for everybody because it's obviously working for so many people. Another example of that is like rules as written says that a potion is an action to take. But now they've changed that to be a bonus action because so many people were bonus actioning it. But I like that they're giving players different sort of tactical ways to explore their creative character. That's the best part about this new sort of D&D model. And, when you first get the book, I've heard that it is like a monster. It's pretty thick.
Yeah.
So, and that can be daunting for some people, but also, again, I read from Sly Flourish, he said, it looks big, but it's very workable. There's different sort of contents items. And if you're looking for a particular thing, that it's very easy to find everything that you want in there. Character creation, although it is more complicated now, it does step you through it quite easily. Whereas in the other player's handbook in the 5th edition, you kind of had to know that you needed to go, okay, I need to do my class, I need to do my ancestry. And sometimes things would go missing. And then a few sessions later, you'd be like, oh, wait, I've actually had this the whole time. So it's a lot more sort of stepped out in that regard. And the new character sheet that they've put out for this one is also so much better, I feel, as well. Just the way that they've organized it. Great. Yeah. I'll send you a picture. I'll put it on thing. Yeah. No, it's good. I like it.
Yeah. Great. Squeaks, as our young paladin at our table, one of the things I'm introducing for our next session on the 20th, 4th, or whatever it is, we're going to start using more physical props because I think it's just going to be more fun immersion. And not only are you guys actually going to have gold coins and you're actually going to be trading in gold, you're actually going to have mana pots as well. So when you want to use mana, you will have a glass with a cork. It's mana pot. My question for you, while I have you and Mike, is it something you want to just turn into me, or do you want me to put like some vodka in these things and you actually have to drink it?
Oh yeah, give me that vodka, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, come on now.
You can role play that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm making a real big sacrifice for this move.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be perfect.
They're gonna be red, but it'll be vodka or rum. Probably rum's a little softer. But yeah, so if you guys want to, all right, you can heal, but you've got to heal twice. You're gonna drive.
I like that.
Okay.
It might do something to your wisdom if you heal too much.
That's funny.
It's delightful.
Wow.
I like that. That's good. I have overdone. I was just telling Aaron too. I bought that 3D printer right over my shoulder, Squeaks, and I am printing the figs for you guys. And like one of the things happening for druids is they could have at Jonathan's level 6 animals they could change it to. He's getting them all. So we're all going to be water genasi themed animals.
Swap them out.
Yeah, so you can swap them out depending on what he's done on. That was the worst thing for my budget was to buy that printer. I can't wait.
Think how happy you'll be, Frank. Think how happy you'll be.
Yeah, it'll be so fun. As a DM, you just want to immerse as much as possible. It's gonna be perfect.
You're gonna when you're like, I don't know how it works with you with that printer, and if you want to print to like sell, bro, I'll keep you employed.
That's what I've told myself is that I'm going to print to sell. That's how I've justified, So like, all right,
that was a business purchase. It was a business purchase.
Yeah. Exactly. It's also, this is super early for, I have to like master it, but it's going to be a weekly Patreon reward too, is that we send out a minifig of something we were talking about. So if we're talking about, I could send out a minifig of a Doctor Doom that's playable for your D&D sessions or whatever, because that's what we're talking about at San Diego Comic-Con. That's the idea. That's a future thing for our Patreon guys. So hold off as I learn how to do that and figure out what shipping is going to be like.
Yep.
All right,
That's
so
good.
there's so much to discuss with the new D&D things. What we're going to be doing over on the website, guys, gfpods.com, geekfreakspodcast.com, is I'm going to be breaking down all the changes by class and the changes to race, because there's a general change for race too and stuff with orcs and whatnot. So check that out, guys. They're going to be trickling out over time as I compile all that information. There's a ton of it. Right now, there's kind of a summary one that's up right now. So check that out.